Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Javon back again with another Tezos update, as I promised that I would be. The idea is to maybe do one of these every Saturday, okay? Just to give you a little bit about what I'm doing outside of this. I'm still a full-time student at the University of Illinois, again studying political science, minor in history, and also I do a lot of studying and research in arms control and international and domestic security. I have recently been nominated by a Professor Vasquez, a lead expert in crisis diplomacy and international relations, great guy, to a symposium discussing America's, the United States and our role in a more broad sense going into the 21st century as all of our nations become more interconnected and globalization really starts to take off. We're going to be discussing key trends and tools on how the United States is going to go about, shoring up its interests, and the do's and don'ts of the past century and this century. How do we go about dealing with our role, or implementing our policies, and pushing forward our agenda and our interest in a more globally connected world. You know, what are some of the key trends? Well, blockchain is one of those. There's no doubt about that. And as a matter of fact, there is a mandate in the military budget that was passed by the Senate a couple weeks ago, something like that, for like $700, $800 billion, somewhere around there, calling for there's a mandate calling for the research and the study of blockchain technology. Obviously, blockchain technology that can be applicable to the U.S. government and its military institutions and other governmental structures and things like that. So this is very relevant. I'm going to bring that up at the symposium, and Tezos is going to be one of the things I talk about. You know, so that was a very prestigious nomination, and so I will attend. And that type of stuff keeps me from, doing this stuff a little bit more often like I would like to, because that is my career path. And so I'm going to try to get these Tezos updates to you every Saturday, okay? I also have been in contact to some extent with both Kathleen and Arthur Brietman, all right? And in terms of the foundation, we're not speaking too much about that. With those types of things, it's better for them to let it play out, all right? But the FUD surrounding it is still just FUD, okay? And most of it has stopped now, right? It's still just FUD. They asked me to continue advocating for them, and specifically Kathleen. So let's move on. We got the Tezos update, all right? So Arthur Brietman posted a dev update. He does these about once a week, okay? And so I'm just going to follow up on that, reiterate some of the points he made, and I will leave a link to all the stuff I talk about, and especially this one, this particular video, at the bottom of the video once I upload it to YouTube. So Tezos, there was a Tezos Meet Up in New York. Also, before I get to the meetup, both Brietmans were on the event Money 2020, Las Vegas, where it's basically a tech event where traditional banking and financial institutions come and meet up with, the new tech space. What's new in the new tech space? And so they were speakers. Both Kathleen and Arthur were both there in attendance, all right? And I'm pretty sure they made a lot of contacts. I'm pretty sure about that, okay? Also, a couple days later, on Thursday of last week, there was a meetup in New York, all right, where it was kind of like a meet and greet. Arthur said that it went very well. There was a few presentations from people that are developing projects for the Tezos blockchain and decentralized applications and things like that. Let's get into some of that. There is a project by Cryptonomics, okay, that is building a RESTful API. Now, I'm not sure what that means, but if you would like, there's going to be the link in this video, okay, and you can go over and see, and Arthur can explain that in more detail for you. But according to Arthur, this is a richer approach towards let's see. Yeah, because the Tezos blockchain would like to keep as little APIs as possible. You know, they want to keep those to a minimal, as much as they can for the services such as like baking and other client queries. And you can build richer APIs on top of this, and that is what Kusei from Cryptonomics is doing. Stephen Andrews is building a MetaMask type wallet. Now, some of you are probably familiar with MetaMask. I know that I am. It is basically, it can be accessed and utilized via an extension on your Google Chrome browser. Okay, so it's a really cool way to interact with the Tezos blockchain using Google Chrome. All right, which is awesome. MetaMask is really cool because it holds a lot of ERC20 tokens, and it's just a really cool wallet type deal. There were a few others. One, his name was Christopher Goes. All right, he is working on a project called Juvix, which is optimizing a compiler from Haskell, which is another computer language, to Michelson. And what that means now is that you can write contracts on the Tezos blockchain in Haskell, that's a big deal, okay? That's a big deal. This is part of the reason why Ethereum went with JavaScript, remember? So Solidity is built around JavaScript. Why do you think that was? Well, because most developers and programmers, they know the language, right? So it's a more universally used language, and a lot of people know how to use JavaScript. Well, there's a lot of people that necessarily don't know how to use OCaml, you know, which is the language that underpins the Tezos ledger blockchain. However, there are a lot of people who can use languages such as Haskell and other type of OCaml type languages that are, how should I say, that are more widely used. Okay, so Haskell is one of those. All right, and so what Juvix is doing, Christopher Goes, is he's making a compiler for Haskell to Michelson, where you can use Haskell to write smart contracts on the Tezos blockchain. That's awesome. All right, so you don't have to necessarily know OCaml or Michelson. All right, that's cool. There's another gentleman, I can't remember his name. I do remember his name, but I can't say it right, and so I'm not going to butcher it here. But he is working on a project called Liquidity, and which uses another OCaml type language, okay, that can be written down in Michelson and vice versa. So now we have use cases, we have languages that are compatible with Michelson. All right, and that's important when you want to develop an ecosystem around your blockchain and decentralized applications like we see on the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, but these languages are much more secure than JavaScript. All right, and that's the key point here. All right, that's the key point. All right, Bo was also in attendance. Bo from Tezigator, and if you guys don't know what he does, he's basically a delegator. He has a delegating. I don't know if you want to call it company, where you can delegate your votes and your voting rights and your baking rights to him, okay? Bo is really intelligent. I've watched a couple videos from him. I believe that he's worked with other proof of stake blockchains such as NXT. I'm pretty sure that's where he came from. All right, and so he's a great guy. And there's also another delegating website ran by Mike Monahan, I believe, called My Crypto Delegate. And so these are easy ways, are convenient ways that you can use to participate and earn rewards in the Tezos ecosystem or blockchain during the baking cycles and the voting cycles without actually physically participating, which is awesome, right? So I'll be choosing one of the two. I'm not sure yet. It just depends. Different mining pools have different structures, and so we'll see. All right. He hasn't really been in contact with the core team. All right. And right now the effort is building more documentation for the code. The code at the moment has plenty of comments, but not necessarily any documentation. So see the video as well for more detail on that. All right, let's move on to the Tezos futures. I just want to do a timeline thing here. The all-time high for the Tezos futures on HITBC, it was $2.88. Okay, now on October 17th, right, for the first time, Tezos experienced over $1 million in trade volume. Okay, and it topped out at about $2.25 that day. On October 19th, it hit 1.5 million in USD. Now, people might say that that's insignificant, but you have to remember that these are IOUs that people are paying $2.25 for. So, what does that say? When somebody is giving up that type of bread, that type of money for an IOU, come on. That's the whole point. You know, the fact is that people are willing to pay this much money in order for us to see a, $1.5 million in trade value at $2.25 a piece. People are willing to pay that even though the tokens don't exist. That's pretty significant to me. Okay? October 19th also was the same exact day that the article came out by Zug in Switzerland on the Tezos Foundation and the infighting. Okay? Let's see what else we got here. At about 3 a.m. on October 19th, that's when the Reuters article appeared, and the flooding began, and now it's starting to fizzle out, basically. On October 20th, the word had spread so quickly by the next morning that it had dropped the price down to about $1.79. All right? From $2.25. Today, on October 28th, Tezos is making a comeback on the futures, okay? Low trade volume, but it hit somewhere around 280 again, okay? And it's been struggling to break that 280 mark since October 19th when it took a hit, okay? So that's important to know. Look, when you're buying the futures, I'm not sure how that's going to affect the actual value when the Tezos blockchain goes live, okay? However, I will tell you this. I am fairly confident and optimistic that the Tezos team and Arthur and Kathleen have already been noticed and have already made contact with major exchanges, okay? Word on the street is that we expect Tezos to trade anywhere between $2 to $3 at minimum first day. And we're even talking about seeing $15 in trade value. I mean, per XTZ for a couple days before we probably see a major correction. So don't think you're going to be getting this at the ICO price. All right, I just don't see that happening. I don't, and it's not going to happen. And the good thing about Tezos is that it's already been listed on CoinMarketCap.com under the pre-launch section. So my question to some of you, because you guys might know this, I don't know this. How often does a cryptocurrency get listed that hasn't launched yet? What is the criteria for that? And well, I guess that's it. The who and the who and the why. So how often does a cryptocurrency get listed on CoinMarketCap.com and tracked, right? Just based off its IOUs, and tracked based off its IOUs without having a product at that time, right? And it's a pre-launch. So I noticed that SegWit was a pre-launch. It was listed in there on a pre-launch. But if you type in pre-launch into the search query on CoinMarketCap.com, you only get SegWit and XTZ or Tezos. So, I mean, you would have to imagine that there's other blockchains out there that are still in pre-launch stage, right? But they're not listed. And so, how often does this happen? Is it unique, right? Because I'm thinking that it's pretty unique, all right? But I'm not sure. So maybe somebody can fill me in on this, and that would be great. All right, moving on. Let's see. Yeah, so that's what we have. We had the dev update. Okay, again, that is Arthur updating the community on some of the technical advancements that the blockchain is currently making. He also updated us on some of the things he's been doing outside of the core team in terms of development, like the meetup with in New York. His appearance, him both and Kathleen at Las Vegas Money 2020, which is really good for the platform because he gets to go there, or they get to go there and tout the Tezos blockchain to potential investors and people that are looking to use these blockchains moving forward. Again, Money 2020 is a big event. It's huge. It's huge. I read one article that basically said, wow, you can't believe the Brietmans showed up. Well, they didn't do anything wrong. So, of course they're going to show up. they're dedicated to their project, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And progress is being made. Progress is being made. Now, also, the Tezos blockchain, at the latest, will launch in February. But don't be surprised if it launches in December. You know, Arthur is aware of the BitMEX contracts and how that works out. Okay? And so maybe if he can, they'll stick to the December date, you know? But if that's not the case, that doesn't mean, you know, that's only 3 months away. 3 months. That's nothing. You know, the ICO just ended in July, right? It took Ethereum a year and some change to launch after their ICO. And they also were set up by a Swiss foundation, I believe. So, you know, don't believe the hype. Setbacks and things like that are to be expected in this space. It happens almost with every single blockchain that's ever come into existence, okay? And it's a normal thing. It happens, all right? But it's only 3 months away at the latest, but we can still see a launch in December, but most definitely in February. We have a firm date, all right? And so that's what I have for you guys today. Please share, put your comments down at the bottom, and subscribe to the channel if you like. And I will leave links to some of the things that I've talked about in the bottom of the video. Thank you. Have a good day, guys.